In this video, I'm going to show you why I think the new class unique ring, the Writhing Band of Trickery, is actually great for the Rogue class. Okay, so this is what we're talking about. It's the Writhing Band of Trickery. In patch 1.2.2 for Diablo 4 Season 2, there's 5 unique class rings that dropped, and this is the Rogue class ring. It gives you critical strike chance, critical strike damage, damage to crowd control, and it also gives you maximum life. Whenever you cast a subterfuge skill, it leaves behind a decoy trap that continuously taunts and lures enemies. The decoy trap then explodes after 3 seconds, dealing some amount of shadow damage, and it can only occur once every 12 seconds. So every 12 seconds, you drop down whatever subterfuge skill you're going to use. In this case, it's Poison Trap, and it's out for 3 seconds. Then after, 9 more seconds, it's back up and ready to go. So there's a 9-second window where it's not great. So why did I make this video? Why is it worth talking about? Well, I don't like throwing smoke up your ass. I'm going to tell you exactly how it is based off of the work that I've been doing and sort of like the research and information that I've gathered for you. When you look at defensive layers for the Rogue class in Diablo 4 right now, there's nothing that really engages the way that the Writhing Band of Trickery does in the form of a taunt. Like before this ring was included in the season, there's like 3 ways you could stop damage on your character, right? The first being you could always just evade. And getting boots like this, like let's say whatever boots you've got that give you maximum evade charges is pretty stupendous, right? You could just evade through stuff. That's number 1. Number 2, you could straight up just dodge it. Depending on what your dodge is, let's see what mine is. Go down here, check out dodge chance all the way down. Dodge chance is 18.8% currently. So I could evade something, I could dodge it, or I could take the hit and then mitigate it if it was like some kind of elemental damage or using my armor to stop physical amount. And those are the 3 ways I could basically prevent my character from getting insta-clapped, right? Insta-gibbed. With the Writhing Band of Trickery, though, now there's a 4th one, and that's taunting things away from you. And once I started using this ring, I know it gets a bad rap. Like, look at this ring, right? It doesn't look sexy, right? It doesn't seem all that appealing, but the actual gameplay with it was pretty awesome. Entire rooms you could just walk away from. Tough situations, things pop up, and all of a sudden you're in trouble. Could be a butcher looking you square in the face. It didn't matter. The Writhing Band of Trickery was a whole new defensive layer for the character, and there wasn't really anything that kind of stood up like it. And so there's a couple of aspects I want to speak to right now that you might look at for a defensive layer if you're trying to push like endgame content right now. Endgame content being basically tier 100 Nightmare Dungeons for the Rogue class. Something would be like, as an example, the aspect of surprise. The aspect of surprise is a pretty clean way to use use a defensive strategy of evading through things to then stun them, right? You'd use a mobility skill to stun them. You could also use quickening fog, same kind of thing, right? You drop smoke grenades and away you go. The problem with this strategy, though, in my opinion, is that those defensive rings aren't great because they require you to use your mobility, which is one of your defensive layers, right? The Writhing Band of Trickery isn't that. In this video, I am going to show you some gameplay of tier 100 carries where I'm in players 4 tier 100 dungeons, just trying to figure out, like, does this thing work? Is it any good? Is it helping me stay alive? And in most cases, hell yeah, it was. The Rogue class, like, does good damage. Like, I know barbs are out there just destroying the game, right? But we're not a barb, we're a rogue. And in the vein of being a rogue, I think it's fair to say that this defensive aspect or this defensive unique ability is really, really good. So for the past couple streams now on Twitch, I've been trying to formulate a build that is solid for endgame content. It puts me and you right at the forefront of when those frickin' gates open, right? When the abattoir of Zir is wide open, you can take a build that I got, pull your daggers out, boom, kick those doors open, and in we go. And I've been trying to figure out how to get there. And it turns out that the Writhing Band of Trickery helps quite a bit. And so I'm going to leave you with some gameplay footage here so you can go ahead and see how it is. One thing that's important, I turned off the damage numbers and all that jazz so you could actually just pay attention to like the flow of the gameplay because that was important for me. It didn't matter how much damage we're doing. That wasn't the deal. The deal was like, how does this work in the dungeons tier 100 and would I recommend it to people? Again, I wouldn't recommend something to you guys and gals that I don't use myself. Another thing about this ring that's really clean, in my opinion, is that it's obtainable. It's accessible. Unlike Duriel mats and farming like that, you may not have hours on end every single day to play like others do. And so a ring that exists like this is a great staircase stepping stone to get your character increased player power to get faster glyph XP, to obtain that Paragon board power that you maybe don't get because you don't have enough time, right? You keep dying in these dungeons and you're upset. This ring should ease that burden for you. In my opinion, it definitely does for me. And again, if I could do this in Players 4, I know the gear is pretty great that you're looking at. Like, I've got stuff, okay? I'm working on a build that will catapult me and others that enjoy the Rogue into the Abattoir of Zir in December when that shows up. So I'm working on that, but you don't need all this crazy gear. And a lot of staying alive is happening because every 12 seconds, right, for 3 seconds, you can just get out of dodge, throw a bunch of basic attacks, and heal up. The Writhing Band of Trickery is actually pretty clean, and I think you should give it a shot. I gave it a bit of a bad rap. I think many did, but sometimes it's not how it's written, it's how it gets used. In this case, you can use this Writhing Band of Trickery all over the place. It is fantastic. Hope you enjoyed the video. Enjoy the gameplay. We'll clear some tier 100s for you. Maybe this changes your mind. If you feel differently about it, by all means, leave a message in the comments down below. You know I check them all out. I sincerely appreciate all of you guys and gals for checking out this video. I hope this helps you. Thank you.